Hi there, welcome to another edition of Ms. Primosch's Art Card. Today on the Art Card we're going to go over drawing a sphere. A sphere is a circle that looks three-dimensional on paper, like a ball or a globe or something like that. So I'm going to use just a piece of paper and a crayon to draw my sphere. So there's not going to be any erasing or any smudging the way I show it. Okay? Now, nobody can draw a perfect circle without a compass or piece of string tied to a tack or something, or a template or something like that. So I'm not even going to try to draw a perfect circle. What you don't want to do is go all at once in one continuous line. It'll look terrible. Don't even try that. So what you're going to do is draw a series of short lines that are somewhat, make a circular shape. See? Now I don't care if it looks perfect now because I'm going to fix it later, so that I don't have to really worry about it too much. So, little short lines. Also what I like to call hairy lines because it looks like hair. Okay? Now, whenever you're drawing a 3D object, it's important to pick where your light source is coming from. Sort of like how you can see I have a light source here. You're going to need a light source on your paper. So I'm going to say that my light source is coming from that direction. So this is going to be the lightest part, and this will be the darkest part. So what we're going to do on the circle shape, we're going to make a crescent, like a moon. You want this to look really curvy. You don't want to draw a straight line. If you draw a straight line, it's not going to get that three-dimensional look. Okay, so I've drawn a moon shape on there. So this is my darkest part. So I'm going to take my crayon and I'm going to shade it in dark. Okay, so that's good enough for now. So now I'm going to have another level that's going to be lighter than this, but darker than this. So I'm going to draw another layer. Now this is going to get even curvier. Okay, so this is going to be lighter than this and darker than that. Okay, so now I'm going to think about the highlight. The highlight on my sphere is not going to have any color at all. It's going to stay completely white or the same color as the paper. So, very lightly, you probably won't be able to see it on the video. You want this super, super light. I'm going to draw an oval, a stretched out oval at the top of my sphere. A common mistake is when people make that too dark. So now this ring is going to be lighter than this, but darker than that. Okay? Now the way you get things lighter and darker is by how much pressure you apply to your crayon or pencil or charcoal. This will not work with a marker. Markers do not respond to pressure. Markers are just ink, so they're not going to give you that pressure that a wax crayon or a charcoal or a graphite pencil is going to give you. Okay, so now we've got darkest, a little bit darker, and then dark. And this is the lightest. Now you can see really strong lines there, so we're going to get rid of those right now. And the way we're going to get rid of those is we're going to peel off some of the paper on this crayon. Okay. So I'm going to use a circular motion to blend over these lines. Okay? Now, you don't want to go too dark. You want to go a little bit lighter than the dark. So if this is my darkest part, I'm going to go a little bit lighter. But I'm going right over that line in a circular motion to blend out that line, so that it doesn't look so sharp. I'm going to go up along the side of my sphere. Okay, and I'm going to make this a little bit darker down here. I'm going in that circular motion. I'm going all the way up here. Continuing that circle. Okay? Let's make that a little darker. Okay, so I'm going to do that to the next level of darkness. Circular line, circular motion, right over the line separating the shades. Now, if you notice, that's getting a little darker. Well, that's okay. It's easier to go from lighter to darker in this situation, so I'm just going to make the whole ring a little bit darker. I'm going to go up here. Now, as I get into the next layer, I'm going to start applying less pressure so that it looks lighter. Okay? And I'm going right into the next ring. Giving it that circular motion, because you don't want to see that strong line. It'll look better and more three-dimensional if you don't have those strong lines. So you notice I don't use my finger to smudge. Some people do. I don't, because I find that my fingers, besides getting messy, will then smudge up the whole page, and I might get smudges into areas I don't want smudges. I feel this is much more controlled. Okay, so now I'm at the highlight part. So I'm going to do the same thing. Circular motion around that line, but now I'm going to go super, super, super light. And it's okay to see some of that circular motion. I'm even going to go up here a little bit, just a little bit, to keep that round look. I'm going to close in, and lighter and lighter. hardly any pressure. Go down here, smooth this out a little bit. Okay, and more or less there's our sphere. So you can go back and you can make the darker parts even darker if you want. Give it a really strong line in the outline, not on the inside. You want maybe a strong line on the outside, or maybe you don't. Keeping that circular motion. And you can go over this as many times as you want to get that smooth gradation of shade and tone. Now, what some people like to do, some people like to add a shadow, as if the sphere was sitting on something like an object. When you think about the shadow is always going to come from the darkest part, opposite the light, sort of like the shadow, if you can see the shadow on my drawing table of my hand. See, this is the lightest part, this is the darkest part, and that makes the shadow. So that means if this is the lightest part, this is the darkest part, the shadow is going to come from there. That's if you want a shadow. I don't always put a shadow. In fact, I don't usually put a shadow. A shadow implies that the object is sitting on something. Okay? So, that is how you create a sphere. So keep practicing. It's not going to look right the first time. It probably won't look right the second time. It may not look right the first 10 times, but maybe it'll start looking right after you keep practicing. I've drawn hundreds of spheres in my life, and I've gotten fairly good at it. So just keep practicing, okay? And I will see you in class. Bye.